Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Reata Horsemanship. I'm Luke Brown, and today is Training Tip Tuesday. I'm very excited to be with you today, this morning, on this beautiful, beautiful morning. You can see the sunrise back behind me. What a beautiful day to be training horses, and whatever you're doing, I hope you truly believe that it is a beautiful day, because it is. It's great to be alive. I remember I used to. I listened to Rush Limbaugh a whole bunch, and in the last year, every morning when he would do his 3-hour program, he would say at the very beginning, he'd say, "I'm thankful. I thank God that I woke up this morning." He would say that every morning, and I agree with him. I concur. It's a blessing to wake up and to have life and to be able to experience what we do in this world. And today for Training Tip Tuesday, I'll show you over here. I've got a horse ground tied over here. This is Pebbles. And Pebbles is the 3-year-old horse out of Yuma, Arizona, I've been working with. This is in the middle of the second day of her 4th week. So she'll be done with her 4 weeks the end of this week. And then we're actually going to be taking her up to Colorado. She's one of the 3 fortunate horses that's going to come with me to Colorado to experience lambing time and some calving season up there, lambing and calving, and be able to. She's going to get a lot of riding out on the ranch up in Colorado. So I look forward to that. She's the type of horse, she learns really quickly, but she also is overreactive and can be real sensitive. Even today, the second day of her 4th week, I had to do quite a bit of lunging and changing of direction because she was too excitable. And there were 2 things I was thinking about, and I just a little while ago I was thinking maybe I'd talk about ground tying. And I guess I'll stick with that. I'll stick with ground time. But I did want to mention one other thing, and I'll talk about that on another Training Tip Tuesday. And that is one of the ways you can slow a horse down when a horse is being too reactive during lunging is just to change directions, do multiple changes of directions. Don't increase your energy when you change the direction, but you just change direction, yield the hindquarters. Basically, I want the horse to walk, trot, and or canter at my request. And what she's doing a lot of the time is, especially early on in the training session, is she's kind of reactive and wants to canter before I ask her to canter. She wants to go immediately into a canter. And that's a pretty good problem to have. Some horses are real dull and are difficult to keep a canter, and she wants to go into a canter almost immediately, and before I even ask her. So all I'll do is yield the hindquarters, change directions. If she picks up the canter, yield the hindquarters, change directions, and I'll keep doing that until she'll just trot and or walk, whatever I'm asking her to do. That's one of the ways you can slow a horse down, especially a hot horse, a horse that like her. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the ground tying. As you can see over here, she's ground tied. She's standing there. I left her right there about 5 minutes ago and let her stand. Now she's really struggled with ground tying. You can see her fidgeting with her feet just a little bit. She's really struggled with ground tying out here in the arena, and I've probably worked with her in the arena maybe 4 times at this point, 4 or 5 times, and she still struggles if I put her somewhere in the round pen or in the arena to ground tie, and then I leave and go do something else. Let's say I move water or I catch another horse or whatever it is. I like to allow a horse to ground tie and just sit and soak on whatever I'm teaching him or her. And what she'll do is she'll disconnect from me and she'll walk off. I always know a horse disconnects mentally when they're ground tied if they stop being ground tied. If they leave their location and they walk over to other horses or to towards the stall that she's gonna finish at, wherever her magnet is, she's gonna walk over there. That's what I call a magnet. And so if she's not connecting to me on a consistent basis and she walks off and doesn't ground tie, what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk over nice and quietly. I'm not going to try to ruffle her feathers per se. I'm just going to go over, pick up her lead rope, and I'm going to start lunging her wherever she went. So I'm going to move her feet, make her work wherever she wants to be. And then I'm going to, and I might do that for 5 minutes. I'm going to lunge her, yield her hindquarters, lunge her, yield her hindquarters, do pass through along the fence, do side passing, whatever it is. I'm going to make her work pretty hard right in that area where she wants to be. And then I'm going to take her back where I want her to be, and I'm going to allow her to be ground tied. And over time, she's going to figure out that wherever I leave her, she should stay there, because if she doesn't, she's going to have to work wherever she decides to go. So if she goes where I want her to go, she doesn't have to work near as hard. If she goes where she wants to go, then she has to work. And they figure it out. But one thing I wanted to mention about her, she's 3 years old, and most horses that are 3 years old and under, now right here, she's starting to walk off right there. So at the end of this video, I'm going to go to wherever she walks to. So let's follow her for a second. So she's going over, there's a little bit of grass on the edge of the arena there. So she decided to walk over there to the grass. So that's her magnet right now. This morning earlier, she walked over to the horses. She also walked over to the other side of the arena. So she's been on both sides of the arena, and I've had to go pick up her lead rope, lunge her, move her feet, make her work, then take her back to rest where I want her to be. And now her magnet is that grass right there. She walked nice and calmly over there, but she still walked off. She still left where I left her. And so after this video, I'm going to walk over to her and move her feet right over there by the grass, lunge her quite a bit, just get her breathing heavy and feeling a little uncomfortable about being in that location. Then I'm going to take her back and let her ground tie. And what I was going to mention about 3 years old and under, it seems like most horses that are under 3, a lot of horses, especially the ones that are more sensitive, more hot-blooded, the sensitive horses, they struggle more with ground tying. They want to leave, and they're a lot less incentivized by rest. Horses that are more mature and maybe a little more dull and cold-blooded, they're very incentivized by rest. Whenever they get to rest, it's a great reward for them. But a horse like her, the reason she's so challenging to teach to ground tie is because rest isn't as much of a reward as some horses is. So when she doesn't mind being over at the grass, or she doesn't mind being over at the other horses, she doesn't mind working there, she doesn't mind just sweating up a storm, because at least she gets to be over there. And so there's one thing sometimes I'll do with a horse that's young and will continue to walk off. I'll move their feet quite a bit and make them work over where they decide they want to go. Then I'll take them somewhere where I want them to be, and I'll go ahead and tie them up, probably tie them on a blocker tie ring, and let them stand and rest there. I'll do the same thing for horses that get fidgety when they don't want to be tied. If they're real anxious and they pace when they're tied up, I'll do the same thing. I'll move their feet somewhere else, and then I'll let them rest wherever I want them tied. So if she continues to struggle with ground tying, and she stood there for probably about 10 minutes, that wasn't bad, but I want her to be able to stand there an hour, 2 hours, and I can walk off, I could go inside, I can do other things, I can take another horse on a ride and come back, and she's still ground tied, because that's where I've taught her to stand and rest. So just keep in mind that two things. One is, when your horse walks off, make sure to move his feet or move her feet over where she wants to be. Make that less of an incentive to be there, because the horse goes somewhere because she wants to be there. So move her feet there so that she has less incentive to be there. It's hard for her to be there, and so give her a break where you want her to be. And the other thing is, tie your horse up when you give them a break, to start to teach them that wherever you put them, they can rest there, and that'll help with those younger horses. Hope some of that helped for you today. Hope you have a wonderful day. Until next time, be thankful, live with purpose, live with passion, and as always, stay safe in the saddle.